So, as some of y'all know, we sunk the Honda about a week ago, and we still need to get a better video of us testing that gear reduction out. So we're going to bring the Honda in the shop. We're going to flush the motor. I've got a couple different ways we're going to do that. And please don't try any of this stuff just because I've talked about it or I'm doing it. Try all this stuff at your own discretion. I've got really good faith in this method of flushing the engine out just because I've done it so many times before. But once again, don't do this just because I'm doing it. Try it at your own discretion. But we're going to drain the oil. We're going to fill it up with about 3 quarts worth of diesel. We're going to crank it up and let it run for about 10 to 15 seconds. We're going to shut it off. We're going to flush it out. Depending on how clean it is once it comes out, we may do that a second time. Now, at the current prices of diesel, that's just as much as an oil change, so it can get expensive really quick if you're trying to flush it multiple times. But more than likely, one diesel flush will be in pretty good shape. We'll stop there. We'll put 2 quarts of oil and a quart of Marvel Mystery Oil in there. We'll crank it up, let it run, I don't know, probably run close to 15 to 20 minutes with that Mystery Oil in there. Basically, that oil is really, really thin, and if you've got anything in there like a stuck ring, or if you got some gunk buildup or anything, it kind of washes all that stuff loose. So it's just another flush, basically. We've actually done this on some small engines before that were smoking that we thought needed to be rebuilt. Put a quart of that stuff in there, let it run for 20-30 minutes, shut it off, drain it out, fresh oil, quit smoking. As far as I know, they're still running. So it's definitely worth a try if you're trying to get by with actually tearing into the whole motor. And we don't really want to tear into that motor yet. We are going to tear back into it, but we want to get this next video done. I've got to find a deep, nasty hole that we can really test that gear reduction out and see if it's going to help us turn those 33s over. So for now, we're just going to flush the motor. We're going to cross our fingers, hope for the best. And I mean, we got it out of the hole. It started right back up, no problem. So I don't think we really have an engine problem. I just want to get the water that's in the motor out, get it flushed, get it cleaned up, and then go hit another hole. So before we dive super deep into this and we get to trying to flush this thing out, figured I'd let everybody take a look at exactly what all we got going on. We definitely got a little water in there. It's just about to overflow. I mean, it went everywhere. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of water in there, but I think we can get all this out. I mean, it's not smoking a lick, so we're just gonna flush it out real good. Put it all back together. We got to figured we'd take a quick look at what we actually got here. If I can get it inside the camera. There is a little bit of diesel in there. I poured a little diesel in there just to try to thin it out and flush it on out. It's really, really cold. It's not wanting to run out very fast. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go dispose of this real fast. I'm gonna come back in, put about a half a gallon of diesel in it just because I know it's got more mud and water and oil, what little bit of oil is left in there. Crank it up, let it run just a few seconds. Hopefully that diesel will kind of thin everything else on out. We can drain what's left in there, and then we'll flush it again. So we'll at least flush it with diesel twice, and then we'll go with our oil flush. So I'm gonna go dispose of this. We'll come back in, we'll set back up, put a little diesel in it, see if that won't thin everything out, help it flush on out a little faster, and then we'll flush it one more time with diesel. decided to go with a total of 3 flushes with the diesel. Still getting kind of a milky tint to it, but I don't really want to go no more than the 3 flushes with the diesel before I put some fresh oil in there. So I ran down to the auto parts. We just got some cheap oil. It's the cheapest oil I could get my hands on. For a flush, it doesn't matter. You just want the cheapest stuff you can get. I got a quart of that mystery oil. This is just a really thin oil, and basically to kind of almost do like diesel, to kind of break any sludge or trash or anything that you might have in there, especially if you got like a stuck ring or something. It'll kind of flow a little better than the thicker oil and kind of break everything loose. You can also use transmission fluid. If you want to go a really cheap route and go to like the dollar store and get you a quart of transmission fluid, it'll kind of almost act the same way. But once again, you don't want to let it run in there real long, 15. Though if you put this with that, you can let it run for 15-20 minutes. It'll kind of wash everything out. So we'll do that. We'll drain it one more time, and depending on what color we get once we drain it this time, we'll possibly flush it one more time with diesel. Then we'll change the oil filter, put some fresh oil in it, let it run a while, and kind of see what we get. So we'll go ahead and put the plug back in it, put this in there. We'll let it run for a little bit and drain this and see what we get. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the engine flush tricks. A little bit of diesel, some cheap motor oil, and either a quart of that mystery oil or a quart of transmission fluid. It normally gets you in pretty good shape. Now it's not a magic fix all if your cylinder's all scarred up, but it's definitely a good place to start if you want to flush your engine out. I 110% believe in the diesel trick. We've got like a 95 model Z71. Original motor is right at 500,000 miles, and since we've had that truck, every oil change, and the oil changes were not often, most of the time 25, 30, 40,000 miles in between oil changes, but we would always flush it with a gallon of diesel. So I'm dead set on the diesel trick working, and it could just be a coincidence, I don't know, but I 110% believe in it. But try it at your own discretion if you want to give it a go. Like I say, some cheap oil, some of that mystery oil, and a quart of transmission fluid, one or the other, is a real good way to do it too. Once again, try it at your own discretion. I believe in it because we've used it before, but try it if you want to give it a go. We've got it all put back together. Got a fresh oil filter in there, got some Honda oil back in there. Once again, oil choice is all up to you. A lot of people like to run Rotella. I just got a piss ton of that Honda oil because we ordered a bunch for a show one time, so that's what I use when I do good oil changes. I just wasn't going to use it for an engine flush. We've got it back together. Probably running around tonight, a little bit tomorrow, just to make sure it don't start smoking. I'm not really concerned if it actually does start smoking. We had a ton of water in that thing, and probably got a little bit of mud and stuff in there too, so I don't really see it lasting a really long time. But we want to pull the oil. We want to pull the motor to try a couple things anyways. I want to try to take the flywheel off, shave some weight off that, see if we can't get it to turn up faster. I don't know if anybody's done that. If they have, let me know. Drop a comment, message us. See if it worked. If it don't work, we might not even mess with it. We got a couple other things, big bore kits, stuff like that we want to try. So I want to pull the motor anyways. But for now, I want to get a better test done on that gear reduction. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. I'm going to try to hunt us down a better hole, and hopefully we'll see y'all tomorrow. So until next time.